Season 9 is around the corner, and I must say I'm pretty excited to see a little bit what's gonna happen on that season. Especially for a Widowmaker main, as I would call myself. At first, I was a little bit worried about the whole situation of how bad Widowmaker could potentially be at Season 9. But later on, I realized when I was looking more about the patch notes that Widowmaker might be pretty strong. It might even be a Widowmaker season. It might be crazy to say that, but please hear me out. So if we're looking at the changes they're doing, they're buffing a lot of health, they're buffing the projectile style of characters, they're just overall buffing the HP and the damage output, I would almost say, on a lot of heroes. And then we shouldn't forget about the new passive that every hero gets, which is basically the HP regeneration after 7 seconds. I think it was 7 or maybe 5. No, it was 5. And this is pretty huge for Widowmaker, because imagine when she gets like 165 HP or under 150. Imagine the way she is pretty vulnerable here. But instead of needing to ask for assistance or from support, you don't really need to either even go to the health pack in those situations if it's not too heavy injured. You could just wait it out for maybe 5 seconds. It's still pretty long in some scenarios, but in non-critical situations, that is pretty good. So Widowmaker is lucky to finally get 200 HP again, but the thing is, everyone else has 250. So for many people who have been making Widowmaker, we gotta relearn a little bit about remembering when to shoot with Widowmaker. Now I think it's gonna be more critical for us to needing to wait out maybe the full 100% headshot to be able to actually one-shot every hero. And the thing is, Widowmaker is probably gonna be the only person that's gonna be able to one-shot heroes now consistently. And that is why she's gonna be very terrifying in Season 9. She of course still has some drawbacks. For example, that even if people do dive her or go against her, she's still gonna have a pretty hard time to survive against, for example, Sombra, Genji, or any scary hero that is pretty up close to her. She's still a one-shot machine, so the second you are out of position, you're probably gonna have a hard time to survive, or if your healers do not react in time, it's still gonna be pretty much of a pain in the ass. But if you're pretty good at surviving and position yourself pretty correctly, you still have a pretty good chance of actually be even more terrifying than before. So imagine you actually get a little bit hit by someone and you have, instead of under 150 HP, you now maybe have 185. That, in my opinion, is pretty nutty fruity if you ask me, and will make Widowmaker more reliable and be able to peak way more than she has been before. So she's gonna be the key hero to be able to stop having those long fights in this case. She's gonna be the one that decides if a fight's gonna be a win or a loss. But if she dies, that means that it's gonna be a lot harder for the team to survive. But the thing is, thanks to the sustainability, I think that even if Widowmaker dies, the team still has a pretty good chance of surviving / trading if a Widowmaker dies herself. And because it's a lot harder now to die, because they haven't really changed too much about the damage output for every hero, the game is gonna be played a lot differently and a lot slower. So it might be a tank meta type of situation here where there's gonna be a lot of shields in this game, but if you're good at finding angles, I think you're gonna be pretty good with Widowmaker. I am personally very excited for Season 9. Season 8 has been so boring, so I decided to not even play ranked and just try to rank up my alt account for playing more ranked on that one instead of PayZ for, you know, losing the pressure and stuff like that when I'm playing ranked. And I am very carefully optimistic about the changes they've done, because Widowmaker is gonna be way more reliable now than she has been before. But don't get me wrong, Widowmaker is still very strong if you're able to find good position and get targets and get picks. She's still very strong there, and always have been, really. One thing that I'm a little bit sad to see is that Hanzo's one-shot power is gonna be gone. But at the same time, I guess it makes sense. Hanzo has a way more forgiving power than Widowmaker has. He can survive up close pretty easily, but Widowmaker is getting heavily punished. So I think this is a way to balance him out, I guess, in that situation. But nonetheless, I absolutely love the one-shot with Hanzo, but, you know, it is what it is. I still think he's gonna be pretty strong. He's probably gonna be around B tier now instead of the A/S tier. He still has very strong power when it comes to the bigger projectiles, so he might even be even better and more consistent to do damage output. So who knows? I might be wrong here. It might still be very good for good players, and maybe worse for worse players. that is people who cannot aim with Hanzo. And yes, I know some people are gonna be like, hey Bastion, there's no way people are good with Hanzo, it's just random spams with arrows. It might happen sometimes and you might be able to get out of gold with Hanzo by just spamming, but if you're somewhat good with Hanzo, you do have aim, you do understand the projectiles and how that works, just how it is. If you're somewhat consistent with Hanzo, you actually have some type of understanding on how the projectiles works. But the thing is, Hanzo is very, very, very forgiving hero when it comes to battling. He is scary and he's pretty consistent with hitting shots, with especially on close range. So I get the frustration. But that is just me. What do you guys think about the season 9? Are you excited? Are you sad? And all the beautiful things? I don't know. But for me, I'm excited. I'm hoping that Widowmaker is gonna thrive again. But that is because I'm, of course, biased. Anyways, I wish you guys have a wonderful day. Subscribe if you want to see more Widowmaker content and other stuff, Overwatch content, I guess. I do bring up some topics once in a while when I think it's something worth talking about, of course. And I think this one was definitely something that I would love to bring up as a topic. Let me know what you guys think. Is Widow really that bad to be in meta? Or is it fun? I don't know. Anyways, I wish you guys have a wonderful day and take care. Yeah.